and said INEC is committed to abiding by the laws of the land. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission has begun releasing results of the Federal Capital Territory Area Council elections held on Saturday. The All Progressives Congress (APC) won 4 of the 6 chairmanship seats in the FCT Area Council elections, securing victories in Amak, Buari, Abaji, and Kwali, while the People's Democratic Party claimed Gwagwalada. According to INEC's declared results, in Amak, incumbent Christopher Mekalangu polled 40,295 votes to retain his seat, while Joshua Aishaku won Buari with 18,466 votes. The outcome leaves Kuje pending as collation continues in the remaining council. INEC officials say the results reflect votes cast across accredited polling units with turnouts significantly below the number of registered voters. In a related development, the All Progressives Congress (APC) has won the Kuje Area Council chairmanship election, with its candidate Danjuma Shekwolo emerging victorious in the Federal Capital Territory poll. Declaring the outcome, returning officer Professor Nkiru Kaudo of the University of Abuja says Shekwolo, having secured the highest number of votes and met all legal requirements, was duly elected and returned as chairman of Kuje Area Council. According to the official results, he polled 17,269 votes. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Zakwoyi Danlami, polled 15,824, while the candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Abga Abdullahi Galadima, scored 4,305 votes. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated winners of the FCT Council elections and by-elections in Kano and River States, urging them to treat their mandates as a sacred trust. According to a statement by presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga, the APC secured victories in 4 FCT councils and both River States by-elections, while the PDP won in Gwagwalada. The president also commended party leadership and stakeholders, including FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, for their roles in the electoral process. Election Observer Group Yaga Africa says the FCT Area Council elections were largely peaceful, with early deployment of officials and improved voter accreditation in many polling units. However, the group notes that late arrival of materials and pockets of voter apathy were recorded in some areas. Anieti Patrick reports.
The Watching the Vote initiative of Yaga Africa deployed observers across polling units in the 6 area councils of the Federal Capital Territory to independently assess the conduct of the elections. In its preliminary findings, the civil organization reports that most polling units opened within the stipulated time, with electoral officials and materials present in many locations before voting commenced. The group commended the use of the bimodal voter accreditation system, noting that accreditation generally proceeded smoothly with minimal technical disruptions recorded.
The voter register was not initially deployed until voters raised concerns and voters objected in some polling units, and we provided at least one polling unit in PU 004 Wuse Ward and Zone 2 Primary School. Other essential voting materials like voting cubicles were not seen in a couple of polling units, which we highlight in our statements. Also, materials such as ink pad were also not seen in the polling units.
However, Yaga Africa highlighted cases of delayed opening of polls in some areas due to late arrival of materials. It also observed low voter turnout in several polling units, attributing it partly to voter apathy and logistical constraints. The group further called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to address identified gaps before subsequent elections, particularly in strengthening logistics and enhancing voter education.
Where they've been reallocated. For security agencies, Yaga Africa calls on security agencies to ensure that their personnel conduct themselves with the highest level of professionalism. We note the level of security deployments in this election to a large extent constituted difficulties and challenges for observers who wanted to access the polling units to observe. And so we call on the security agencies to discharge their duties especially as collation will soon commence with some and a highest degree of impartiality, professionalism, and excellence.
Yaga Africa reaffirmed its commitment to promoting electoral integrity and urged stakeholders to uphold democratic principles as results are collated and announced. Anieti Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
Well, thank you, Anita Patrick. Still on electoral matters, in Kano, the All Progressives Congress has won the Ngongo and Kano Municipal State Assembly by-elections held on Saturday. Returning officer Professor Ibrahim Tajo Siraj announced the results, declaring Daniji duly elected. In Kano Municipal Constituency, the All Progressives Congress candidate Aliyu Nabil Daniji polled 7,484 votes to secure the seat and will represent the constituency in the Kano State House of Assembly. Grassroots politics take center stage in Benue State as the All Progressives Congress (APC) begins a crucial phase of its internal democratic process. Party leaders say the word Congress is not only shaping leadership at the local level, but also reinforcing unity and stability within the party. Our correspondent Felicity Indere is with the rest of the story.
The State Executive Committee monitored the process from Makurdi to Taka and Gboko as officials confirmed that the congresses have been peaceful and petition-free. The chairman described the exercise as a key opportunity to strengthen grassroots leadership and the party's foundation. The Benue State APC chairman, Benjamin Omale, expressed satisfaction with the level of participation, noting that active engagement by members would keep the party vibrant, democratic, and truly representative.
You can see that the democratic electoral process is going on, and that's to tell you that everything is ordered, free and fair. And this to assure you that the Benue State are ready and in order, and we are proud of what we have seen here.
Delegates described their participation as more than a political obligation, calling it a sacred responsibility essential to the party's continued unity and success. They also dismissed claims of internal division, maintaining that there are presently no rival aspirants within the party. In Makurdi, Felicity Indere reporting for Global Television News.
We appreciate you, Felicity. Let's turn to other stories now. The All Progressives Congress (APC) in Imo State has successfully concluded its ward and local government area congresses across the 3 senatorial districts of the state. Our correspondent, Marachi Ebe, who was on the monitoring team, visited several councils, including Oguta, Owerri North, and Oru East, where most positions reportedly emerged through consensus, while voting held peacefully in others. Party officials say the exercise recorded no incident, reflecting unity within the party ahead of 2027. Chairman of the Ward and Local Government Congress Committee in the States, Godwin Alnawore, speaks on the outcome.
Yes, the SGA Congress in Imo State have gone very smoothly. It has been peaceful, it has been hitch-free and credible, strictly in line with the constitution of our party as well as the guidelines. You know, the APC family in Imo State is very united, and in almost all the places we have had reports from, we have had consensus candidates.
Marachi, thank you for following through with developments in Imo State for us. The National Assembly has outlined major reforms contained in the newly enacted Electoral Act 2026, introducing mandatory electronic transmission of results, compulsory use of the biomodal voter accreditation system, otherwise called BVAS, and digital membership registers for political parties as part of efforts to strengthen the country's electoral integrity. In a statement issued by its Directorate of Media and Public Affairs, Senate Leader Bayemi Bamidele said the legislation is the outcome of 2 years of consultations with key stakeholders, including the Independent National Electoral Commission, Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, civil society organizations, as well as development partners. Senator Bamidele also stressed that the law is a collective effort designed to reflect national consensus, The bill was harmonized by both chambers of the National Assembly and signed into law by Bola Tinubu within 24 hours, a move aimed at preventing a constitutional crisis ahead of the 2027 general election. Suspected bandits have reportedly demanded 100 million naira from Islamic clerics in Ngaski local government area of Kebbi State, threatening consequences if the levy is not paid. The demand follows recent deadly attacks in parts of the state, allegedly linked to Lakurawa bandits, deepening tension among residents. Kebbi State government says it has reinforced security in the area on the directive of Governor Nasir Idris, with additional police personnel deployed to prevent any further attack. Troops of Operation Fansanyama of the Nigerian Army have neutralized several suspected Lakurawa terrorist elements following a failed attack on Dadinkowa community in Kebbi State. A counterinsurgency and security expert in the Lake Chad region, Zagazola Makama, disclosed this in a post on X. Makama stated that the armed group attempted to raid a local market in the early hours, blocking a major access road into the community to facilitate the operation. 2 teenage herders have been killed while grazing cattle near Jol village in Riyam local government area, Plateau State. Chairman of Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria in the state said the victims were attacked while grazing cattle. The Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria condemned the killings as unprovoked, noting that they occurred less than 48 hours after another ambush in Barkin Ladi that claimed the lives of 3 herders. Evidently quite a sad development there. Katsina State government has announced the rescue of 21 kidnapped victims during a joint security operation at Dagaza Hills in Damunsa local government area of the state. In a statement issued by Commissioner of Internal Security and Home Affairs, Nasir Muhazu, the government said the intelligence-led operation was spearheaded by the Department of State Services in collaboration with the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Police Force, as well as the Community Watch Corps. 4 suspects were arrested and are currently undergoing investigation. According to the statements, the rescued victims comprised 16 women, 2 men, and 3 babies abducted from Gidan Sarakin Bayero village in Musawa local government area and other locations. The federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening collaboration with the Catholic Church to advance national development, peace, and social cohesion. The pledge was made by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, in a goodwill message delivered to the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria during its first plenary meeting of 2026 in Abuja. This was contained in a statement issued via X by Special Advisor, Media and Publicity to the Federation, Yomi Odonuga, describing the plenary as, quote, a significant moment of reflection and pastoral direction for both the church and the nation, end of quote. You're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. The AM News continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign, and sports stories on the other side of this break for you. Please do stay with us.
Hello and welcome. Over the next 24 hours, visibility is expected to gradually improve across most parts of the country. However, slight dust haze will persist over much of the northern and central region. In Borno and Yobe states, moderate dust haze may reduce horizontal visibility to between 2 and 5 kilometers. Residents in these areas are advised to take necessary precautions. Meanwhile, moisture continues to dominate the southern region of the country, supporting partly cloudy skies. Inland cities may experience slight haziness along the coast, including parts of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, some parts of Edo Delta, Ondo, Ogun, Lagos State. There is a good chance of isolated thunderstorms. Coastal residents should stay alert for rain showers and possible lightning. And that's your weather outlook for Monday. Stay informed and stay safe. I am Joyce Ogunleye, and I'll see you again.
We appreciate you staying with us. You're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. The second part of this broadcast now returns with business, where the federal government has formalized the launch of a $50 million Impacts Innovation Fund to support Nigerian startups tackling critical social challenges, following agreements signed between the Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSRA, and the Japan International Cooperation Agency. The signing ceremony held at the Budget and Economic Planning in Abuja covered the grant contracts for the projects of the developmental support in environment for startups addressing social challenges. Under the agreement, the Japan agency will provide $14 million in grant support, while NSIA will contribute up to $20 million to match the grants as part of the $50 million Impact Innovation Fund. The fund is structured as an onshore public vehicle and will combine financial support with technical assistance to help startups refine products, scale operations, as well as expand into new markets. The federal government says it is considering staggered revenue distributions and the creation of fiscal buffers as part of strategies to prevent a surge in public sector liquidity from fueling inflation, as sweeping oil and tax reforms begin to lift inflows into the Federation account. Speaking at the latest meeting of the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, in Abuja, Dr. Doris Anyete Uzoka, Minister of State for Finance and Structural Changes to Petroleum Revenue Management and newly implemented tax measures are expected to materially strengthen monthly allocations to federal, state, and local governments. However, she cautioned that higher revenues, if fully distributed at once, could destabilize the macroeconomic environment. The reforms include a presidential executive order issued on February 13, 2026 that mandates the full remittance of oil and gas revenues into the Federation accounts, suspends certain management fees and allocations previously deducted at source, and directs that gas flare penalties be paid directly into the common pool shared by the three tiers of government. United States President Donald Trump has announced plans to raise the proposed global import tariff from 10% to 15% after the country's Supreme Court blocked its earlier mechanism for imposing sweeping trade levies. The move invokes an alternative trade provision that allows temporary tariffs for up to 5 months without immediate congressional approval. The decision deepens market uncertainty as Washington seeks to preserve its trade agenda following the court's 6-3 ruling against the use of emergency powers. Time to go to the foreign scene now. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has held talks with RSF Commander Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo in Entebbe, focusing on ending Sudan's nearly 3-year civil war and restoring regional stability. Museveni emphasized inclusive dialogue over military victory and reaffirmed the need for African-led solutions as the African Union pushes for direct negotiations between the warring sides. The conflict between the RSF and the Sudanese army has killed thousands, displaced millions, and triggered one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with ceasefire efforts repeatedly collapsing. Somaliland says it is ready to grant the United States access to its mineral resources and military bases as it intensifies its push for international recognition. Mukhtar Qasim has details.
The breakaway region, which declared autonomy from Somaliland in 1991, has been seeking broader diplomatic recognition following Israel's decision in December to acknowledge its independence. Somaliland officials say the territory holds deposits of lithium, coltan, and other strategic minerals, and argue that closer ties with Washington could strengthen regional security in the Gulf of Aden.
Friends, if it's Israel or the United States, explore the potential of minerals that we have, particularly the rare earth and the strategic minerals, in which we know are becoming very important for the United States. And as the President said, we are willing to give exclusive also to the United.
The minister also suggested that Somaliland is prepared to deepen similar strategic partnership beyond Washington as it seeks formal recognition.
basically, Israel has recognized Somaliland, and two countries which recognize each other have the potential to agree on a number of strategic issues. But this recognition and relationship between Somaliland and Israel is not shaped by military or security. It's shaped by the fact that Israel has recognized an existing state.
Somali's federal government has rejected Somaliland's independent claim, while the African Union and several Arab states have reaffirmed support for Mogadishu, leaving the region's diplomatic future uncertain. Mukhtar Qasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Away from Mukhtar's report now, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has declared that Iran will not bow to foreign pressure as tensions escalate with the United States over stalled nuclear talks. The U.S. is expanding its military presence in the region, while President Donald Trump says he is considering limited strikes to push Iran toward the deal. Negotiations have hit deadlock over uranium enrichment, missile development, and sanctions relief, despite Iran maintaining that its nuclear program is for peaceful purposes. The Iran's top diplomat, however, says a proposed agreement could be ready within days. And now time for excitement from the world of sports. The National Sports Commission, NSC, is stepping up efforts to secure international hosting rights as part of a broader plan to rebuild aging facilities and reposition sports as a central driver of Nigeria's economic growth. The strategy, according to the Commission, as Chairman, Shehu Diko is anchored in the Renewed Hope Initiative for Nigeria's sports economy, a policy framework that outlines both the guiding principles and measurable outcomes of the reforms. Diko explained that hosting major competitions sits at the heart of that research from the onset, and the Commission resolved to pursue this as a catalyst for development desperately. And that's all we have for you on the AM News. Thank you for watching. I'm Uyag Mofoibe. A quick reminder that you can follow us across all social media platforms using our Global TV NG, as well as others now showing on your screen. We are also on DSTV channel 365 and on Star Times channel 276. Starting shortly is Global Morning.